We have an outreach program called Day in a Chair. And the whole point of Day in a Chair is to take an experience out to corporate business.
We've been to the Padres, we've been to Semper Energy, we've been to Qualcomm. People sign up and literally spend a day in a chair to understand what it's really like to be in a wheelchair and the different challenges that presents to everybody.
This outreach event is really tailored to give the experience of physical disabilities and of being challenged.
We find every single time the experience for each individual is different.
Just the little bits and pieces that you're gonna catch and see. Grabbing a cup of coffee. It's not the same as it used to be. I put a hot cup of coffee in my lap one time. That was the last time I really did that because it's, you know, we can't feel it. It's terrible. And then, you know, trying to get into the bathroom, open a door. Okay, I have put papers in your lap. You push them, start flying around. You got to somehow manage the chaos. You're managing your day differently because everything is going to take a little bit longer.
When I started to roll the chair, it became very apparent that it's going to take me 3 times the time to move from one building to another. So just an eye-opener.
I, like Brian, almost immediately said, okay, I've got to figure out what I'm doing now and plan. You know, when am I going where? Don't go too far and then have to come right back, and to think about much more than I normally would about where I'm going and what I'm doing and where am I going next.
And it started when I first got in the wheelchair, and I had to start thinking about how I truly was going to maneuver the chair. Not the rolling forward, but how am I going to turn left, how am I going to turn right? And so you find yourself starting to think about things you take for granted. You don't think about how you're going to walk, and how you're going to turn right and turn left.
And I think that was a good thing, because it gained great empathy for what so many folks have to live with. And especially being in the healthcare business, it's important, I think, to have that empathy and understanding for what other challenges people face.
To push the chair for extended periods of time becomes really tiring, to say the least.
After I'd done it for about 2 or 3 hours, I couldn't take my pen out and write without my arm just shaking. But my forearms killed me for the next 2 or 3 days.
You know, I was so pleased with the number of people who always came to help and offer help. That feels great when you're doing this for a half day or a day. But how does it feel when it's every day, that you have a sense of someone helping, as opposed to being able to be independent?
It was a whole different perspective on the world to me. I mean, I'm 6'1", I'm used to being one of the taller people around and seeing around and above the crowd, but to be lower just psychologically, I think kind of pushes you down and takes you away from the group, which I think is hard on people.
It was surprising when I was trying to negotiate through groups of people. At some point, I honestly felt like I was transparent.
It did stick out to me what a challenge it is for everyday life, the little things that we take for granted.
Obviously with Sharp Healthcare, and particularly with the rehab program and being exposed to patients in wheelchairs, I've had a huge appreciation, but never like I did at the end of that day.
It was a unique experience, and it does humble you. It makes you think more. I think empathy in general in life is one of the greatest gifts and skills that people can have. And that's what I think this experience does. It helps us have empathy for how others live their lives. And it's invaluable.